Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Sports Talk podcast. This is our United show. This is Devil's Advocate, and today we're here to talk all things Manchester United, all the news, transfer news, and also just obviously to talk about, I suppose, the Leeds game on the weekend. We're going to talk Southampton this weekend. We're going to talk about all the latest players who are in form. So a lot of things to talk about this evening. So I am joined this evening by Rach, as always. Rach, how are you this evening? Haven't seen you since the weekend.
Yeah, that was some weekend. I'm still kind of trying to recover a little bit. You know, it's kind of 2 days on a row isn't, my liver just doesn't cope anymore. So it seems to think that I'm still 20, but 100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm all right. I've had my second vaccine today, so I'm just feeling a little bit rough, but not too bad.
Yeah, literally, I was the same there last week. Literally, before I flew out to Manchester, a couple of hours before I flew, I got my second vaccine as well. And I was a bit run down myself, as everyone knew, when I was over in Manchester. I was kind of just kept drinking just to keep myself going.
I never noticed.
Yeah, you never noticed. But yeah, look, very good weekend. And look, it was very good to kind of meet people for the first time and look and see a lot of faces that you would see who are here in the comments and stuff like that. It was very good to meet a lot of people that I never met before in my life. So yeah, 100%. And speaking about meeting people, obviously usual heads are in the comments again. Rory says evening. Victoria's Secret says hi folks, still in great form today from what happened on Saturday. Absolutely. And
Definitely.
Billy Bryant, our Arsenal fan, is also in the comments, and he said, and it's live. So absolutely, we are live. For the first time, well, my first live show since the Leeds game on the weekend. So absolutely delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to be talking all things Man United. Rach, first thing I'd like to talk about, obviously, look, is the Leeds game on Saturday. 5-1 win, 5-star performance. For me personally, unbelievable performance. Before we touch on that though, obviously, before the game kicked off, Rafael Varane was announced officially to Manchester United fans, and he was unveiled in front of 70,000 fans and this past weekend. What were your thoughts like when you hear the announcer saying we're here to announce a new signing? I thought it was going to be Sancho. Amy thought it was going to be Sancho. We were saying, please, let Sancho kind of have a wave to the crowd. And then the announcer says 4 Champions Leagues. Like that hit me. It's like, oh my fucking God, bro. It's Varane. It's fucking Varane.
Yeah.
What were your feelings like when we seen Varane walking out in a 3-piece suit, holding the number 19 jersey?
It's hard to describe because at the time, because the Stretford end was so loud, I couldn't actually hear the announcer. Like I couldn't hear a thing because everyone was just going absolutely mad. So I didn't actually hear anything. So I didn't even know what was going on. All I saw was this geezer walking out in a 3-piece suit holding a United jersey. And I was just like, I was kind of like, oh shit, that's Rafael Varane. And then kind of it clicked and everything was, the whole place just erupted and it went absolutely mad. So it was something special. I've never experienced anything like it at United game myself. So it was absolutely amazing. And what a signing he will prove to be. He's a leader. He's a serial winner. He's so experienced and he just brings that little bit of, stability that we need.
Definitely. And I think when you look at the signing of Varane, I think brings stability, it brings experience, it brings knowledge to a team where we still have relatively a lot of young players in the squad who are up and coming, and to kind of see him come in and kind of be around kind of defenders such as Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, and I'd even say Maguire to an extent, like he will raise all their levels. Lindelof as well. Lindelof, his performance, I know we're going to get to all the performances kind of in depth in kind of terms of how we felt, but I think he could even raise his game as well. I think Lindelof will be playing with him every day. That surely make him get better. We'll see how this signing works out, and look, hopefully he starts on the weekend. I'd absolutely love to see Varane start alongside Maguire away to Southampton. I think it'd be great to get him in there straight away. William says in the comments here as well, you should come to the Emirates for a real atmosphere. Well, judging by from what you've been telling us, William, you're still struggling to sell tickets for the Chelsea game. But, you know, man, Arsenal, they got their business done today with Odegaard and Ramsdale. Just got here we go. But you don't know what's going to happen. It's either up or down with them this year. No European football. Remains to be seen kind of how they get on. But that's for the London Lowdown. Reece Russell can dive into that. The Leeds game itself, obviously, look, 5-star performance. I thought we started very well. Thought the intensity was
for sure.
was there. Thought McTominay in midfield for me was a real kind of shining light. I thought his work rate, his intensity, his breaking up the play was very good. Bruno, my first time witnessing him live. Like, one thing I noticed about Bruno, you don't notice on the television, is his work rate. His work rate is unbelievable. His pressing from the front and his overall communication with his midfield. Like, he didn't shut up. He was kept talking to his midfield. And that's what I love. Yeah. That's what I love. Like, he's a real leader. And people can talk about all he does is score penalties. He does so much more. His passing, his even his work off the ball to give other players those space is really good. And just watching that live and seeing him get that production of them the 3 goals, especially that third one, like, that was a brilliant finish, brilliant timed run as well.
Brilliant assists.
Brilliant assists as well, yeah. Like, like, I think when you look at Bruno, he's a fantastic player. And the slander he gets online, I don't understand how United fans, our own fans, dislike him. He's such a good footballer, and like, to hear the fans love him. Our fans absolutely love him. They love the manager. Like, a lot of social media hysteria was really wiped out on Saturday in front of the full crowd, full attendance at Old Trafford.
Exactly. That's why when I see stuff on social media nowadays about Ollie out and specific player FCs, it all goes out the window, because the support that the team and the manager actually gets at the ground is unparalleled. Like, you can be down on the team no matter what. Say if they're having a bad performance, you can be down on the team, but we'll always still, cheer them on. Even when the Leeds goal went in, fair play, absolute screamer, nothing you can do about it. Potentially could have closed him down a bit earlier, but at the end of the day, there's nothing taking nothing away from the strike, because it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But even after that, when you're sitting at home and an equaliser goes in, you kind of just, you sink into your chair a little bit and you have a little moan on Twitter. But when you're in the ground, there's no time for that. There's no time for you to sit down and be pissed off. You've got to get behind the team again straight away. And we saw within 3 minutes, Greenwood shut them up. So I think the home support was absolutely fantastic, and it was sorely missed last season. Not just at United, I'm saying that for all clubs. The home support would have been a massive, massive advantage for clubs last season. But, we've just got to see how the season plays out with, everyone back and the 12th man essentially. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, the atmosphere was unbelievable. It really was. And it's one of the best atmospheres I've ever experienced at Old Trafford on Saturday. It was unbelievable. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I'll fully admit I was emotional Saturday. Like, when they said, like, welcome back to Old Trafford, welcome to the Theatre of Dreams. Not going to lie, there was tears in my eyes. Amy looked at me and I kind of turned my head away and I was like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm grand. Yeah, I'm okay. And just Bruno Fernandes scoring a fucking hat-trick in front of me. Like, everyone knows how much I love that player. It was just unbelievable to see. And just want to touch on it as well, Rach. Paul Pogba, 4 assists.
Absolutely insane.
He was absolutely world-class on Saturday. What are your thoughts on his performance?
He was everywhere, and just his work rate and the fact that he actually turned up and he put a shift in. Like, that's all we wanted to see from Pogba, because his performances have been very inconsistent. And I understand that fans get frustrated when, you've got this player that has a big personality, comes in and doesn't perform every week. But we've got to sit back and think about the actual player, when you actually look at what Pogba does in that team, yes, he might not assist, he might not score every single game, but what he does for the team it's irreplaceable at the moment anyway, because he's hitting his highs at the moment. He's got a great connection with Bruno. Obviously, he's got Martial and Varane with the French connection. I mean, I can only see ups here for Pogba. I think he's never the whole Souness situation it's so wrong on so many levels. I think he just has a massive hate for the player, and that makes no sense because yes, his agent has done some very, very questionable things and, came out before massive, massive games and pretty much fucked us over. But Paul himself has always been professional. He's never refused to train. He's never, dropped stinkers of a performance on purpose. Like, I've always liked Paul. I love Pogba. When he came back to the club, I was absolutely ecstatic. I would love him to sign a new contract. The agent situation just drives me mad. He either needs to get rid or put him back in his box, because you can't take a player for granted the way that he does with Paul. He just takes absolute liberties, and it's dampening the reputation of the player, because, I mean, you've seen when there was links with Paul to PSG, the PSG fans didn't want him. Now, I have no doubt about it that that's not because of his performances. That's not.
It's about his links at Marseille. That was the links at Marseille he has.
Yeah, but I also think it's the circus around him as well. That's one of the main contributors as well. So, I have nothing against Paul. I love him. I'd love him to stay. He's an absolute warrior on the pitch. I just hope that he kind of puts his agent back in his box.
Yeah, 100%. I think, look, we all hate Mino Raiola, and look, he's someone who Fergie rightly said it, he's an absolute scumbag. That's the best way to describe Raiola. But
oh, and by the way, I didn't realise this was a Christmas cup. I've seen a few comments in the in the chat saying that it's not Christmas yet. Yeah, I'm very aware, but I just like the cup, and I actually didn't realise it had Rudolph ears on it. So
yeah, they asked to stand for Rach or Rudolph, but look, that's open to interpretation, because it won't be long before we're at Christmas. Trust me, it's near the end of August already. We're halfway there. Trevor says, Keane, when did you get your voice back? I heard you're on ice cream all week. Yeah, look, my voice, Rach, you met me Sunday. My voice was nearly gone. It was more or less gone. It was. Saturday from the game, I was at the toll gate singing my heart out before the game. During the game, just constantly singing in Old Trafford. My voice was actually going by the end of the first half. I turned around to my girlfriend Amy and I was like, my voice is fucking gone. Like, what am I going to do? Kept singing the second half, plugged away. And then Sunday, my voice, when I was coming home my voice completely gone, because I was watching my friends fight on Sunday. And anyone who didn't watch it, Eric absolutely smashed the lad. I'll get the link up for the fight very soon for you as well. Absolutely fantastic. He smashed it. So we will have an interview with him on this podcast this week as well, for about his win. But yeah, look, my voice was gone. It actually probably came back today, really. And yeah, Trevor, whoever told you I was on the ice cream, they're fucking bastards, because I absolutely was, and trying to get my voice back. So yeah, look, absolutely delighted to be back in Manchester, and again, just to kind of meet all the people that I've got the chance to meet doing this podcast. And do you know, just other people who drop me messages on Twitter. I met into Daniel, who is usually in these comments, Daniel Levison. I met into him on the way back from Old Trafford. Just randomly in the street, just bumped into him and had a chat for him a couple of minutes. Very good to meet him. Very good to meet like all people on social media, especially during lockdown as well. Like, though lockdown was a tough time for everybody, and to kind of see all these people you'd met during lockdown on social media and come together to support Manchester United. It's just absolutely great to see. And look, the performance wasn't too bad, was it? Like, the performance was absolutely class. So
can't complain.
Everything came together this weekend. In terms of your man of the match, loads of standout players. Greenwood obviously played exceptionally well. Bruno, hat-trick, Pogba, 4 assists. Who for you would have been your man of the match on Saturday morning?
Look, I could go for obviously Bruno or Pogba, Greenwood, someone that scored, but I'm actually going to go with McTominay, because he was everywhere. Like, just seeing him work so hard, like he epitomizes Manchester United. I know he gets a lot of stick, and sometimes rightly so, because some of his performances and some of his passing has not been up to par at all. But you have to give credit where credit's due. He was absolutely outstanding on Saturday. He was interjecting himself into everything. It just seemed like, oh, Leeds players got the ball. Oh, McTominay's there. Other side of the pitch, McTominay's there. Like, he was literally everywhere, closing everything down. His passing was great. He worked well with Fred. I know Fred gave the ball away a few times, but he was absolutely outstanding, just like he always has been against Leeds. I mean, we saw it even last season. He always turns up against Leeds. So, you know what? I'm going to give it to Scotty, my man of the match.
Look, I wouldn't begrudge that. I think, like, Scott McTominay, for me, he was exceptional. He was everywhere, as you said. Won every header, won every tackle. He was just immense. And it wasn't just that going forward he was good. I thought defensively he was very disciplined. I thought, like, he slotted in very well. Like, do you notice when either Lindelof or Maguire stepped out, Scott McTominay was slotting in. Like, he was being very disciplined. And look,
well, I mean, he's obviously got that from being a centre back with Scotland. So obviously he does have that discipline, because you've got to have discipline to be a centre back. So he's obviously got that in him. But obviously, I'm not saying that McTominay should be centre back, no way. But I'm just saying that he does have that discipline needed to be in that position, and he really did show it against Leeds. He was absolutely outstanding. So, but obviously, you could go for Bruno, you could go for Pogba, Greenwood, Lindelof, you know. But no, I'm going to give it to Scotty.
No, Lindelof was very good.
He's always my man of the match, Trev. But I'm a widow at the moment. I think that we've kind of established that his days are numbered in the first team. So I'm a widow, but getting there.
In our group chat, he's actually named Lindelof's widow, just to let everyone know. So we do send your condolences to Rach in the comments. Look, for me, I'd say, look, Bruno will be my man of the match. I think he was excellent. I thought, like, his work rate, his passing, that flick. I think it was in the lead up to the Pogba chance, so it was a Greenwood chance. That flick was absolutely sensational.
The control he gets is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, he's a brilliant footballer. And if Bruno hits the numbers like he did last season, we have every chance to, like, challenge him on all fronts.
I do think we still do need an established CDM, but yeah. I just saw the comment there from Victoria's Secret saying that he's never going to be a CDM. He's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he has the discipline to play there in some games, just obviously in some games, but he's more of a box to box, obviously. But
I think he's better. I think Scott McTominay, like, especially going forward, he's definitely an asset. And, like, you seen last year, Rach, he was a threat in the box. Like, he really was. Like, he scored 7 goals last season. Considering he was playing as part of the 2 in midfield, like, he scored 7 last year. And, like, he's seen, even, I know he didn't score in the weekend, but when he was up there for set pieces, he was a threat. And he's someone who definitely is ever evolving every season. Do you know what I mean? Like, physically, he's growing out.
Yeah.
Going forward, his discipline in this game, he's getting better each year. And I think even that experience in the Euros definitely done McTominay good in terms of, yes, he's playing a centre-back in a back 3, but that adds to his game. Like, that overall tournament experience adds to McTominay's game. And look, I don't get this social media hysteria that he's a bad footballer, because he really isn't.
Of course he's not.
He's a very, very, very good footballer. Now, as you said, maybe in midfield we probably need, maybe one more midfield player to really kind of stack us in midfield. But look, if like, let's say we don't sign a midfield player and we do, then when Rashford comes back, we play McTominay and Pogba in the middle of the park, I will not lose sleep, because we've seen that they can play well together. And the fact that, you do have extra options up front, and you have a world-class centre-back player in Varane and Maguire. For me, maybe you can get away with not getting another midfielder. I think there is the room for that. You can maybe get away with it because Varane's world class. You look at Liverpool's midfield, really, right? If you look at Liverpool's midfield, I'm just going to bring them up as a comparison.
Yeah.
You have Van Dijk and Gomez at the back, and that kind of gives Liverpool the kind of, I suppose, the opportunity to bypass the midfield and play kind of really quick football.
Yeah.
Let's say we don't get that defensive midfield player in. If you have Varane and Maguire at the back, two very good ball playing centre backs, maybe you can beat that first phase of play and you pop it into a Bruno, pop it into a Pogba further forward, and McTominay can be that disciplined player still there to cover space. Because you have very good defenders at the back with Varane and Maguire, Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka are very good defensively too. If we don't get that defensive-minded midfield player in, I'm not going to lose sleep because Scott McTominay is a very good footballer who can definitely contribute. You have Matic who can play there. Donny maybe can play there in games where we're not going to have the ball. Besides games where we're going to have a lot of the ball.
I keep forgetting that Donny is a United player. I just keep forgetting about him. Like you said him then, I was like, oh shit, yeah, Donny still plays for us.
Yeah,
so I really hope he gets a chance.
We still do have options in midfield, but I do agree that we do need someone in there. Whether that's Saúl, Neves, Declan Rice, whoever it may be, or Takami, the player we're linked with today. I think for sure there's definitely there's players out there who can definitely do the job in the role. But again, with the centre back partnership we could have a room for to prosper in the team.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about transfers. Andreas Pereira gone out on loan today to Flamengo. Season-long loan with an option of a year. Sorry, an option of to buy. Looks like Jesse Lingard may be on his way out towards the end of this window to West Ham. Looks like that's getting closer. Apart from them two, do you expect any more outgoings? Obviously, Tuanzebe went out on loan last week. Ethan Laird went out on loan as well. Yeah. Do you think, is there room for anybody else to maybe leave, or do you maybe think Andreas and Lingard may be it?
I'd maybe say Anthony Elanga. I think he needs to go out on loan. But other than that, as long as, obviously, because we're not going to offload Jones, he's already cemented his fifth place centre back or whatever he is now. I'd probably say Anthony Elanga. I think he needs to go out on loan and get a little bit of experience, maybe in the Championship. I think that will do him really, really well. But other than that, I mean, I love Jesse Lingard, absolutely adore him. But he was happy. He was happy at West Ham, and you could see that he was playing his football again. He was enjoying himself, and he's not going to get that chance at United because there's better players in his position, in my opinion. So as much as it would kill me to see him go, I would like to, see him go for his own kind of mental health as well as anything, because I know he's come out in the past week or so saying that he was really struggling with his mental health, and it seems to have massively improved when he was playing football again. So I just hope that he, gets his move and he plays regular football because it's what he deserves, because he's in no way a bad player, in my opinion. He's just not. There's better players in our squad.
When you have Bruno and Marcus Rashford in front of you in them two positions that he plays,
exactly.
It's very, I wouldn't say unfortunate, because it's great for us to have them options, but I think you look at the depth we have there, it's kind of hard for him. Exactly. And the fact that you have Martial who's there, Greenwood as well, like, it's going to be hard for him. And I think, look, I'll just say this, it's best for Lingard to leave for Lingard. I think that's to get first team football. And
exactly.
I love the fact he went to West Ham yesterday and played on last season and played unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, because it showed, I don't think he's a bad player. If you look at Lingard's time at Man United, he scored a lot of big goals.
Yeah.
You look at the Chelsea game, you look at Everton, you look at the FA Cup final, the Community Shield, the League Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
He scored goals against Liverpool, Arsenal. He scored in a lot of big games for us. And even the games he didn't score, against the City away at the Etihad, put in very good performances. he's been a very good player, but in his position, like especially Man United, you can't have very good. You has to be elite. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes is elite. Marcus Rashford's elite. In these positions. And I think that's where Lingard, for his own sake, especially the fact that he's after getting back into the England squad, I think for him, if he wants to continue kind of on that trajectory of staying being an England international and playing football every week, for himself, I think it'd be best for him to leave. Now, look, I'll be honest right now, if he stays in these next couple of months and he can be that backup player for a Rashford or Sancho, if one of them gets injured, if he stays and that happens, look, I think for me, I wouldn't mind it. But looking out for the player himself, I think probably best for him to move on. But again, I wouldn't begrudge him. Not at all. Just going to come to Reece's comment here, just with a bit of breaking news. As it stands, Pape Sarr is more likely to go to Manchester City than Man United, while Takami is a player who also interests United. I reckon we may see more movement on that when Pereira and Lingard maybe goes. I think we may see him come in then.
Obviously, we've got the money from Lukaku as well, haven't we?
We've only got 5 million of that. I think the rest of the 45 now is going to come in installments because there is a scheduled. I only found this out last week. There's a scheduled time for them to make the payments every year, and that still stands. But we only got 5 million out of it, because the sell-on clause we had. But we are going to get the money. Like, that's the important thing. The money is going to come. It's just going to come within the next 2 years rather than right now. But look, either way, we're going to get that money, and maybe that go towards a certain number 9 next summer. You never know.
Fingers crossed.
Trevor says Lingard will be remembered fondly, but his time has been and gone. He needs to be sold 100%. Yeah, look, I'll always remember his goals for us. And the times he went to the Emirates and absolutely terrorised Arsenal. Look, brilliant. Sorry, William, but it just has to be said. Just has to be said.
Maybe he should sign for Arsenal, and then maybe he'll start scoring for Arsenal because he loves the Emirates so much. So,
do you know what? If they didn't get Odegaard today, I would have said, do you know what, go. I would have said that'd be an ideal destination for him.
That'd kill me, though, I think.
Oh, imagine him come to Old Trafford and scoring against us. That'd kill me. Yeah. 100%. My screen's after freezing, but I'm still here. Rach, looking ahead to Southampton on the weekend.
Yeah.
Look, we're on the back of a 5-1 win at home at Old Trafford.
We are indeed.
Last season, we done the double over Southampton. Very entertaining 3-2 game away from home. And then we absolutely blitzed them 9-0 at Old Trafford. Last season, Rach, we were unbeaten away from home. And I believe we're 1 win away from breaking the record. And 2 wins from kind of setting our own record for longest unbeaten run away from home. Obviously, this is Southampton's first game in front of fans in over 18 months. But however, we would be considered strong favourites going into this game, considering the squad we have, Varane and Sancho, potentially both coming into the starting lineup on Saturday. Do you expect us to continue that home run on Sunday? And what do you kind of expect of us kind of going away from home against a full capacity? Because we haven't done that in quite some time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong, because I think I said it last night on the show 3 Bills and a Gooner. We haven't really seen a home advantage for a while. Like, when we were going away from home, we were winning constantly away from home. There was no fans there. So I do think that did play a massive part because, like I said at the start, the fans are like the 12th man. Like, they do carry teams across the line. I think we'll get a good record. I think we'll break the record and we'll continue to set our own, but I don't think we'll go a whole season without losing away from home. Yeah, I do think the home support will be massive lift for teams like Southampton and like the lesser teams. I mean, you saw Brentford against Arsenal. I mean, Brentford played very, very well, but the home crowd must have helped because they were it was electric. So, yeah, I do think we're going to still carry on the momentum from going away from home, but it won't last all season, I don't think.
Yeah, look, I don't think... Yeah, I don't think we're going to go on beating away from home this year, but I do think we'll have a good record again this season, because one thing about this team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is it never gives in, it never gives up. Under previous managers, if we go 1 or 2 down away from home, they used to fold. Not under Ole, and especially not with the attacking options and the depth we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't think we'll have, an unbeaten record, but I think we'll have a very good record. And I think at Old Trafford, our home form is going to be really strong this year, I feel. I think
I hope so, because last season, the home form was absolutely dog shit. Like, it was horrible. Like, you'd think that you'd be, better at home. But no, it was not the case. I felt so confident when we were going away from home. And I hope that now that the fans are, back, and I mean, we saw the atmosphere on Saturday, and when I alluded to it at the start, that when equalised, the fans just got behind them, and then we, scored almost instantly.
Reece makes a perfect point. A point here. Eric Ramsey's assigned of the summer. Very could well be, because set piece coach, we've seen how good we were from set pieces on the weekend, especially in pre-season as well.
Yeah.
Towards the back end of it, we've seen the defending the set pieces getting a lot better. Could very well be. We could come back to this podcast in a couple of months, and I said this on a previous podcast. You get Varane in, Son Markin doesn't become a problem. You get a set piece coach in on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have personnel in there to kind of do that job. And look, we'll see kind of how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing something there just on social media, Rach, especially coming into this weekend, a very interesting point. A certain man from Uruguay back in training today, Edison Cavani, back in training.
Mm-hmm.
I know he'd be training all week. We're going to get starting 11 predictions a bit later on the show, but how happy are you to see him get a prolonged rest in the squad, and it's like from the squad doing pre-season, and how excited are you to see him come into a team? Well, obviously new additions such as like Varane and Sancho, and potentially a midfielder coming in too.
I think he needed it, to be fair. He had a great tournament in South America, and he's absolutely smashed it, and he deserved that extended break. At the end of the day, he's 34? Is he 34 now?
Yeah.
So he's getting on a bit. I know he keeps himself in great shape, but he's kind of getting on a bit, and he's not going to be able to play every single game. So not having Cavani, especially for the first game or maybe even the second game, it doesn't concern me, because Greenwood should be kind of, I'll get into my own kind of agenda here, but Greenwood should be kind of the main focus up top, and then obviously Cavani could just be there to help him or come on as an impact sub, because last season, I think I remember harping on about it last season, every time he came on, he had an impact. When he started games, he didn't have that much of an impact, didn't score that many goals. But when he came on as a sub, he's a very, very clever player. He watches the game and he knows how to interject himself, and he knows how to make a difference on the game. And it's exactly what I expect him to do this season as well. I think a lot of trust will be put in Greenwood this season, and rightly so. I think he's nearly ready. But just the addition of Cavani in there to help guide him will definitely help. So I'm happy that he's had an extended break, but I'm also very, very excited to see him back in that lineup. Yeah,
definitely. And before I get on to Cavani, I'm just going to get to Trevor's comment here. Keane, nice jersey. Is that one of your tops in your United count? Only 3, 4, 2, 1 to go. Right, I'm just going to just address this now before people think I bought this jersey. My mother actually won this jersey in a raffle there last week before the United match. And she won a raffle on one of these Facebook pages here in Clonmel. And I thought she bought it as well until she actually sent me screenshot proof of the conversation with the raffle page. So, no, I didn't buy the jersey. And it is very nice, by the way. It is the real one.
I'm going with retro. Absolutely love this one.
Rach went to the retro, but look, this is the real one. I will admit it's the real one, but just to clarify, I didn't buy it. My mother won it in a raffle. So before people think I'm funding Glazers. No, didn't do it. And if anyone wants proof, I'll slap up the screenshot of my mother's conversation with the raffle page if you're that fussed. But yeah, look, I'm delighted to see Cavani come back in. I think Reece touched on it there in the comments, is he had to extend a break to see his family as well, because pre-pandemic, like he didn't see his family for 2 years. So like, I think, look, it was part of his new contract to have that extended break to go see his family, which, look, is absolutely fair enough. And look, he's going to come back in a great mental state, physical state, and look, he's just going to be fit and firing. And as I said, him and Greenwood up front this year, we have 2 great options. I'll even go as far as to say Martial, 3 great options, all different styles of striker. That's what you need. Like, any great United team, we always had 2, 3, 4 great strikers who could all do different things against different setups. That's what you need. And I think having Cavani, having Martial, having Greenwood, it can only benefit us. Marcus can, if worse comes to worse, you can play Marcus up front. Like, we've all these different options. I'd even go as far as to say, if you wanted to play Bruno as a false 9, you could do it. There's so many different options that we can navigate this year. So, like, when people say Martial needs to go, Greenwood needs to go out on loan, ye people are absolutely fucking ridiculous. You're absolutely ridiculous. But look, I'm glad with the depth we have, and I think this year is definitely a big year for Mason Greenwood. And I think Amy said it. She said to me the other day, I don't know where we were going. I think we're actually in the Uber. We're in an Uber the other day in Manchester. Turns around and says to you, Greenwood's going to be a 30-goal a season striker by next year. I think he very well could be. He has that potential. He has that, the finishing ability, the movement. I think that other year under it, in the guidance of Cavani, will definitely help him propel to new levels as he kind of gets older. But look, I think Mason Greenwood is a fantastic player, great professional, and Edison Cavani being there, being his mentor, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And then when you're playing with players like Pogba, Bruno, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, you're going to score goals. You're going to get chances created for you. And Mason Greenwood will put them away. 100%.
I'm not worried one bit about our forward line. We've got so many attacking options that you could change it up each week. So it's not predictable. I mean, last season we saw the lineups were starting to get very, very predictable. You knew you had your standard back four, your standard front, and then the middle of the park as well. It was all very robotic in a sense, because we all knew what the starting lineup was going to be, permitting obviously injuries dependent as well. But this season, I feel like the versatility of the front line as well is absolutely mouth-watering if you think about it. Literally, you could have so many different options. So yeah, and as Aim says, there's so many goal scorers as well. So I'm not worried about scoring goals one bit this season at all.
Definitely not. And look, we scored a lot of goals last year. Goal scoring wasn't a problem last year.
Yeah, of course.
If we be really honest about it, like, goal scoring wasn't an issue last year. And the fact you're adding to that now in Sancho and a fully fit Marcus Rashford, might I add, come October, November, we're going to be firing. And if Bruno Fernandes keeps going the way he's going, I'm under no illusion that we won't score goals. Like, we will. Yeah. 100%. And definitely, I think you look at maybe potentially there's other players there who may contribute during the course of the season. Dan James, he's proven to be a squad player. He do a job in certain games. I know Reece won't like me saying that, but I do believe he has a squad role within the squad, especially important games. We've seen it on the weekend. I think Elanga, as you mentioned, if he stays, if we have cup games, Elanga can definitely be that player. And then you have Hannibal Short-Heary, players like this who can come in. Like, there's so many different options. Joe Hugel, Charlie McNeil down the 23s, both of them banging in goals. We've plenty of options in this squad. And Trevor said, I think we score a mountain of goals and a lot more 5-1 scorelines. Ollie has scored 5-6 goals a lot more times combined than Moyes, Van Gaal, and Mourinho.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that should tell you where we're going in terms of style of play. Before we get starting lineup predictions for Sunday, I'm just going to come to Reese's comment here. He says, question for Keane and Rach. Based on the fact we know we're lacking a defensive midfielder, do you think we could end as similar as Liverpool did? Push to City to a single point by scoring 3, 4, 5 a game? I'll go first. I think, again, I said this at the start of the show. The fact you have Varane and Maguire at the back, and providing they stay fit, you could get away without getting a DM if McTominay can continue to play in the way he's playing. I think he can get away with it for the large majority. It just depends really on how the setup happens. Like if Pogba moves back into the middle of the park and you play Rashford, you play, Sancho, Bruno, Cavani, Greenwood, there's goals there. I think we could go on down the route about scoring teams. But look, what I will say is I think if you really want to win the league, I think getting that extra midfield player in, getting that extra body in there gives us depth, gives us more creativity, and I think, look, it can definitely help us going forward. But I think we could push City this season anyway. By getting that defensive midfield player, I think for me definitely solidifies that. Rach, what do you think?
I think it comes back to the age-old argument of, goals win your games, but defence wins your titles. And we have strengthened in the defensive area as well. So I've said it a few times that, hopefully Varane has that, bringing in a world-class defender. Hopefully it can follow with trophies, because obviously Liverpool did it with Van Dijk and City did it with Diaz. When they brought in that centre-back, that world-class centre-back, it's closely followed by titles. So, I mean, you can go down the route of outscoring people. Obviously, you're going to win a game if you outscore people. It's just fucking common sense. It's the aim of the game. But I feel like to win trophies and, in finals and stuff, you do need to have a world-class defence. And, we haven't seen Varane play for United yet, but so I'm not going to get way too overconfident about it. But obviously, he's a world-class defender. Elite mentality, winning mentality. He's going to be fantastic, and there's no doubt that he would strengthen the back line 100%. So I do think we can go down the route of just outscoring people, but defense wins your titles.
Yeah, I think you just need. I think, as Reece said there, like the midfield players, kind of the final piece to the jigsaw, and I think that's absolutely right. But if Varane has a similar effect to what Virgil van Dijk had at Liverpool, I think, again, there is the room to get away with it, because McTominay is a good midfield player. Matic can sit in between the defence. Varane has very good recovery pace. I think that's a thing that a lot of people sleep on. That if you do have, let's say, a Matic in there, you do have room for Varane there, because he has that recovery pace that can, if Matic does lose the ball on the break, you have that recovery pace to cover. So, look, there is room for it there. But again, if you do get that top class midfield player in to play alongside Pogba in midfield, Bruno in front of him, Rashford, Sancho either side, Cavani or Greenwood up front, then that's a team that can challenge and win the league 100%. But I still think we'll be thereabouts this year, 110%. I think Ollie is progressing every year, and these signings are the way the signings he's making now is hinting at more progress. He wants to go for it this year. Just get that midfield player in. I believe we actually will, because people are saying we're going to have to sell the buy, we're going to have to get rid of players. Pereira left and Flamingo are paying 60% of his wages. We got a bit of money in for Lukaku. You look at Lingard leaving, he's probably going to leave for 25 to 30 million pounds. Mata took, was it nearly, I think it was 60 or 70% wage cut. I think you will have that midfield player come in. I just don't think you're going to see it now. I think you'll see it probably deadline day. I'm saying this now.
Yeah.
That midfield player will probably come in deadline day.
Yeah, potentially.
And do you know what? It'll be fucking glorious if that happens. It'll be a great. I love a good deadline day signing. There's not a load of them at once like we did last year when I was unsure about Cavani, but look, we see how that turned out. He was absolutely fantastic. it's kind of come to a comment from Reese. The tears on someone's face when Ollie and Bruno win the league. For you, won't name you, of course. I hope to see this as well with Bruno lifting the title with Ollie. That would be fantastic. And seeing tears on a certain individual's face would be fucking beautiful as well. But yeah.
I said this last night. I think that final loss in the Europa League final last year has really hurt Ollie. Like, I genuinely believe that it's kind of lit a fire in him to say, like, I never want to go through that again. It's like the same mentality that, and by the way, do not take this out of context. I'm not comparing Fergie and Ollie one bit, but it's the mentality that when we lost to City on goal difference,
yeah,
he said that will never happen again, and it didn't. Next year went on and absolutely smashed it. But it's the kind of same mentality that I can just feel with Ollie at the minute, that he's had that final loss. He's been that close, and then he's thought, right, that ain't not happening again. And I just want to reiterate that again. I am not comparing the two managers, just because I know that how easy things can be taken out of context. I am not comparing Ollie and Sir Alex. I'm just saying the kind of mentality that you need that's there. I feel like it's lit a fire under him, and I just hope that he's had that loss and he's thought, right, that's it, I'm not going through that again, because the pictures of Ollie just broke me, like in the Europa League final, and all the players and everything. Like, I just hope that that's kind of said, like, right, fuck that, we ain't doing that again, we're winning the next one and the next one after that. So I just hope that maybe it's optimism, maybe it's blind faith, but fuck it, you've got to go for everything you're in, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. And look, I echo that. I absolutely echo that. I'm not going to compare him, but Reece says in the comments, pains me to say, but look what happened when a certain manager lost the Champions League a year later. We can go do something. Absolutely. Look, Chelsea won the Champions League last year.
Yeah.
If you look at both squads, there's not much really between our squads, really. If I be honest, I look at maybe they have a couple of players such as Kante and obviously Lukaku probably as a striker now who are probably that bit ahead, but obviously they've a few other players like Havertz, but we have a lot of talented players in our squad too. So look, we can definitely win something this year, and we should win something this year. But you never know in football. You don't have a God-given right to do it. You have to play well, and you have to give 100% to win it. You don't have that God-given right. Whether you're Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, or fucking Leeds United, you don't have the God-given right to win a trophy, no matter who you are, and you have to work for it. So let's hope we can do that and definitely push ahead, going into next season. But it was not next season, this season. I keep forgetting that we're at the start of the season. Just at the game, but thinking about this weekend's game, Rach, obviously it was an unexpected lineup going into the Leeds game. Obviously they played a very high intensity game, and Ollie kind of tailored his lineup to them, which did work out. I think we matched their energy very well, and we nullified them do very well. Obviously Southampton are a whole different kettle of fish. We are going to be away from home. Obviously Sancho got extra minutes against Burnley, and he came on against against Leeds. He's probably 100% match fit now. What would be your starting 11 on Sunday, considering the players we have available and who's going to be fit?
So I'd go with De Gea in goal. I think that speaks for itself. Back four, I think he's going to go with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. I think he might start Varane because he's had obviously a week to train. He was training with Madrid before he left anyway. He was in the Euros. He's obviously an experienced player, so I wouldn't expect him to be left out for too long. Potentially, maybe not this game, maybe the next game, but I think we'll see Varane in there potentially, and obviously Shaw at left back. I do think he's going to stick with McTominay and Fred in the midfield. Obviously, there's no one really else. I mean, you could put Matic in there, but I would probably think he would stick with McFred. Then Bruno, Pogba on the left, Sancho on the right, and Greenwood up top, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. And I don't think I'll have much different. I think De Gea and goal. Henderson's obviously still kind of recovering. Wan-Bissaka right back undisputedly. I do agree. I think Varane and Maguire will start. I think when you look at Maguire and he first came in, he'd 3-4 days training for the Chelsea game. He slotted right into centre back. Shaw look again undisputed left back. I think the Man U match will start alongside Scott McTominay in midfield. I think we'll have a lot more of the ball in this game. I do think against a team like Southampton, you will need that physical presence in there. Yeah, Matic does give us that, and with Matic playing, it allows McTominay to drive forward into more box-to-box role. Yeah. And I do think he could start this weekend. Greg Chambers is probably slaughtering me right now for saying the Man U Matic will start, but he very well might do. But
there's some games that the Man U Matic will suit, and the less high-intensity games he would suit. He just hasn't got the legs in his locker anymore, but he's still got a good few experience, and he's good for select games, but there's no doubt that he can't play every game, but potentially this is a game that would be able to suit him.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Matic, McTominay. I think he has the legs to play this game, and I think this game would suit him. So I would go Matic, McTominay, obviously Bruno in front of him. Sancho, I'll go Sancho on the right. I think Sancho will start. Just obviously, I think when you look at, he came on against Leeds, he got 15-20 minutes against Leeds. He started against Burnley and played a vast majority of that game. I think he's fit enough. Another week's training, he's probably fit enough to come in. Daniel James misses out for me. I think Sancho starts. 100% for me. Obviously Bruno, Pogba off the left, again, give him the freedom just to roam and do what he needs to do. And obviously Greenwood up front. I think Greenwood will play. Up front, he scored his runs to make spaces for Bruno to kind of go more central were really good. I really loved how he pulled off left, pulled off right, and allowed Fernandes and kind of Pogba to drift into positions to do damage. And I think Greenwood can definitely do that against the likes of those Southampton's centre backs who don't have they're not the quickest. They're not the quickest centre backs in the world. So I think Greenwood up front. But if Martial plays, I wouldn't begrudge it. Or if Ollie said, fuck it, he's in training the week, start Cavani, I wouldn't begrudge that either, because Cavani did score at St. Mary's last season. We might see Cavani off the bench. You never know. But I think
that's more likely. I think he'd be more of an impact sub, if anything. But yeah, I'd love to see him play some sort of part in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Love to see him get a game. And Greenwood, if he can play the way he played against Leeds, we'd always have a good chance. And like his finish on last Saturday,
beautiful.
That roar, like we heard what the other lot were singing when they got that equaliser. They're singing about Sancho and Rashford, and they're singing about Munich. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Brutally honest, fucking disgusting. And Karma is an absolute cunt, and don't really like swearing. But this instance, I don't condone the actions of the Leeds fans. And see Greenwood shut them up and with an absolute great finish.
I think I heard them for all about 3 minutes.
Yeah, they went quiet for the rest of the game. Yeah. We didn't hear a fucking peep out of them for the rest of it. And look, we seen what they done. Funnily enough, around the corner from my hotel, tried to scare innocent people, and then I was going to say Red Army just done the business, didn't they? Got rid of them. But yeah, look, it was just great to see Manchester United back in a nutshell. And great to see the fans back. And look, hopefully another win this weekend. Keep us top of the league. And, we push forward. But Rach, we're at my favourite part of every show. I used to love this part of the show last season. For most of the games anyway, at least, is score predictions. We always have on the panel, we always have wild score predictions. We always have conservative score predictions, but nevertheless, always my favourite part of the show. Rach, give me your score prediction for Sunday against Southampton.
I'm going to go 3-1 to United, obviously. Goal scorers, I'm going to go Greenwood to bag 2 and Sancho to get his first.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. Reece Russell in the comments here.
Always.
He's going Manchester United 6, Southampton 0. Reece, if that happens, I will get a tattoo saying I love Dan James. If we beat Southampton 6-0 away from home on Sunday, I'll get a tattoo on my left calf saying I love Daniel James.
Jesus Christ.
For the life of me, I hope we win 7-0 now. But there's my little bet with Reece. If we win 6-0 Sunday, I'll get a I love Dan James tattoo onto my left calf. But I'm gonna go with I'll go 2-0 United. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think we see Bruno and Mason get on the score sheet. I think it'll be a very disciplined performance. I think Varane at the back will be solid alongside Maguire. And do you know what? Just to throw in something there, it's not a score prediction, but it's a prediction. We're going to get an Aaron Wan-Bissaka assist on Sunday to Mason Greenwood in the box. But Rach is going 3-1. I'm going 2-0. And, let us know, other guys, whoever else in the comments watching live, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, any of the rest of our destinations, do let us know in the comments, what you think the score is going to be this weekend. And look, as always, let us know what you think about the other talking points we did discuss tonight if you're watching on the replay as well. But we're going to wrap it up there for tonight, guys. We will be back, obviously, next week with Devil's Advocate again. 3 Devils in the Gooner will be back. I think Reece may be live tomorrow or another day with the London Lowdown as well. He shall organise that as well. And Greg's podcast, the Talk League podcast, will be live as well. I must get into dialogue with Greg and get that back up running, for the upcoming season as well. Plenty of football content to come. And also, as I did mention as well, Eric's interview will be up on the podcast. Him and Dylan will be coming on to talk about his fight in the weekend. He's literally only flying back. He's actually in Manchester on Sunday. So he's literally only after flying back. He's literally only off the fucking plane. So I'm not going to ask him to come on today or tomorrow, but he will be on over the weekend or early next week to talk about his fight anyway. So do tune in for that. And Reece Russell on the lead up to SummerSlam will be doing the weekly Armchair Steel Chair podcast. So do check it out as well if you are a fan of the WWE. Before we wrap up, we do have another score prediction in. Bezo does say 3-0 to United. He's gone with Greenwood and Scott McTominay and first start goal for Jadon Sancho. So look, that'd be great if that absolutely happens. But as I said, we're going to wrap it up there. Don't forget on your way out to smash the like in the video and do subscribe to the channel. All different sports and podcasts coming up within the next couple of weeks. So do stay tuned. And as always, we'll see you later.